This is G6e, and let's just highlight a few of the high points from this standard. It says use different degrees of precision in measurement, explain the reason for using a certain degree of precision, and apply estimation strategies to obtain reasonable measurements with appropriate precision for a given purpose. So that's a lot of words, there's a lot of things going on there. So let's take a look at a few examples from geometry that apply to this particular topic. Alright, the first, probably most important thing that happens in geometry is you can have answers, and you can provide the answer in exact form or in approximate form. I'm going to give you an example here. For instance, circumference of a circle equals pi times diameter. So, you may have a circle, and the diameter of that circle is 4. What would the circumference be? Well, the circumference of that circle would be 4 pi. Let's give it a label here. Let's say it's centimeters. 4 pi centimeters. So is that an exact answer or is that an approximate answer? Well, that one happens to be an exact answer. There is no rounding in that problem at all. Well, what would an approximate answer be? So an approximate answer, you would take 4 and you would multiply it times 3.14, which is, here's your Q, an approximate solution, or an approximation of pi. And so that would be 615, and then 12, and then 2 decimal places. So I'm going to put this symbol in front of it there. So it's approximately 12.56 centimeters. So that's the difference between exact and approximate. So now a big idea here, actually a really important one, is like, what does this have to do with anything in real life? Well, what if you were putting a sprinkler system in your ground and you needed some pipe to put in your ground? What if you were extending a water faucet and you needed a pipe for your water? So you got to go to the hardware store and you got to get this pipe, and your pipe has to have a diameter of 4 centimeters. So are you going to walk into the hardware store and you're going to tell them, hi, I need a pipe that is 4 pi centimeters in diameter? Or are you going to walk in there and say, hey, I'm looking for a pipe that's as close as possible to about 12.5 centimeters, about 12.5 centimeters. So I hope you're saying that you're going to walk into there and you're going to ask for the approximate one, because in real life we deal in these units. We do not use pi in real life, right? I mean, you wouldn't walk into a pizza parlor and ask for, a pizza that had a diameter of, 4 pi inches or something like that. I'm going to show you a couple more examples of this exact versus approximate. Here's a second example. About a year ago, I decided a little plot of land in my yard was going to become a fruit or vegetable garden. And so I had 2 walls that had a fence and some concrete, and they both happened to be 8 feet long, and I needed some fence and to connect these 2 endpoints here. And how long does that fence have to be? Well, this is an isosceles right triangles, which you also may know as a 45-45-90 triangle. In order to find the length of that fence, all you do is take the length of the leg and you multiply it by the square root of 2. So it's 8 root 2 feet. And here we are again in this spot, 8 root 2. Okay, is that an exact answer or is that approximate? That is an exact answer. So right now we're theoretically talking about this and doing calculations, and that exact answer is perfect. However, when it came time to actually go to the hardware store and buy fence, I actually took out a calculator and I multiply 8 and times the square root of 2. So when I multiply that out, I end up with 11.313712. That is an approximate answer there. That is rounded. So that brings up, the very final last point of all this is the degree of precision. So if I'm rounding, if I'm going to go up to the hardware store, about like where do I need all of these decimal places when I go up there? Is that appropriate? Probably not. They probably can't measure fence to that degree of precision. So probably in that case, if I just have maybe one decimal place, 11 and a third feet, that's probably just fine. A third of a foot happens to be 4 inches. So that would probably be just fine. So exact versus approximate, when to use it, and then lastly, how much to round off to is appropriate. All three of those things are what this standard is all about.